Coming up on News Live at 6, as foreign conflict intensifies, energy bills are rising here in the U.S. cities like Syracuse. The sacrifices students are making to pay the price.
Plus, New York joins the lawsuit against the Trump administration, what they're fighting in court.
And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is out, the senator who President Trump picked to replace her. When News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is CitrusTV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
As the U.S. continues to invest in data infrastructure and participate in foreign conflict, energy prices continue to rise according to Energy Information Administration. Welcome to News Live at 6 for this Thursday. I'm Luke Welch.
And I'm Kaitlin Campbell. Citrus TV's Jess Hooten spoke to students about how they're handling the increased bill.
In recent months, residents living in areas surrounding Syracuse's campus have seen dramatic increases in what they're paying for their electricity bills. Hallie Meyer is just one student noticing the change.
My bill went up by like $100. It's crazy, and I'm in the same house I was in like a year or two ago.
But Meyer isn't the only person impacted.
It was roughly $100 more than it was the previous month, despite not really changing my spending habits in power usage.
Although increased prices can be expected throughout the winter due to heating usage, payments for some have tripled. Another student said that she and her 5 roommates are each paying $150 a month, which well exceeds their prior payments. I talked to a spokesperson for National Grid who said, quote, "We know people are struggling right now. We see our customers are facing unprecedented economic challenges, whether at the grocery store or paying for room and board. This has been a challenging winter for all our customers."
Students are saying that the increasing prices have influenced more than just their bills. It's also influenced the way they spend time with friends and on personal interests.
A decrease in the amount of money I have left in my wallet to buy things like school supplies or have fun. Made me go do less things outside of just going to school. And
If you factor in rent, your rent's really going up by like $200. So already you expect like $100 a month in the winter, and the houses here are so drafty. It's like
National Grid acknowledged the price jump and attributed it to higher supply and demand. They provided no timeline for the decrease in cost, but there are affordability and efficiency programs accessible through their website. For Citrus TV News, I'm Jess Hooten.
Jess, thank you so much for your reporting. Republican candidate for Governor Bruce Blakeman was in Marcellus today to outline his plan to reduce affordability concerns. Blakeman promised to cut energy bills in half, cut taxes, going to green energy programs, and focus more on natural gas as an energy source.
Kathy Hochul. They don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. They want to live comfortably and enjoy the nicer things in life, which they're entitled to and which they used to have in this state, but they haven't had it under Kathy Hochul.
The current energy affordability plan implemented by former Governor Cuomo aims to provide financial relief to eligible customers. As of January, the program offers discounts to customers below the state median income. In November, Governor Hochul announced the state's zero emissions credit program expected $151 million in energy bill savings for this year.
Though prices have continued to increase for the past 5 years, the city of Syracuse is looking to invest in cleaner and cheaper solutions as well. Mayor Sharon Owens is launching a new Syracuse solar energy program. Residents can subscribe to receive a portion of their energy from local solar farms, getting credits directly on their national grid bills. These deductions could be anywhere between 10 and 20% off, depending on household income, and participation is free. City residents can learn more or sign up at the web address on your screen. And Kaitlin, you know, those solar farms could be taking use, but it wouldn't be like a day like today because it is raining hard out there. I know we got some sun yesterday. It was a nice change of pace. It was a nice break, but that rain is coming back.
I was going to say, I feel like yesterday felt like a tease to spring, and then as soon as we start to feel like a little bit of hope here in Syracuse, it comes and smacks us back in the face and we get all that rain today.
I know, and we're leaving, and some nicer temperatures are expected, but we're leaving. Anyways, we have Katie Jamroga, who is in for Sophia Braun, to tell us all the latest weather updates. Katie?
Yeah, thanks guys. So out there right now, it is 40 degrees, so it is warmer than it has been outside, especially considering we're still in that Syracuse, upstate New York winter. There are some showers, so even though it is warm, I feel like we can't always win on all fronts. There is still some rain. not as windy, but if you look at all of the temperatures in the region, we can see that the higher temperatures are kind of similar throughout. If you look at Elmira and Ithaca, 43 degrees, Binghamton 42, Colton 41. So I still feel like even though we're not totally seeing that spring energy yet, there are some higher temperatures on the way. We can hope that this is a sure sign of spring, but I guess we'll have to see. And going on to tonight, 36 degrees, so there is a slight temperature drop. It'll still be pretty warm out there. But hold tight to your umbrellas still going into tonight because the rain is not going away. It's still going to be pretty rainy out there with 8 miles per hour winds, so not too windy, but I still feel like we're going to need the umbrellas tonight. So back to you guys.
Katie, thank you so much. The Syracuse stage has unveiled its series of shows for the 2026-27 season. The 54th season lined up includes everything from dramas to comedies, as well as Tony Award-winning musicals. One of the plays, called The Black Nationals, showing in April, is based on the Syracuse Nationals basketball team.
Syracuse University is teaming up with the cannabis education company Green Flower to help foster careers in the marijuana industry. The partnership aims to teach students every corner of the growing business. The 6 new courses are being offered online beginning March 10th. Anyone 21 and older can enroll even if you are not an SU student.
Upstate Medical University has received a $4.5 million donation from an alumnus and his wife to fund medical student scholarships and create 2 endowed faculty positions. The donation from Dr. Christopher Ulrich and his wife Betsy will target 2nd and 3rd year medical students. Upstate Medical University President Dr. Montosh Dewan says, quote, "Generosity strengthens the foundation."
Well, now to the latest on the I-81 reconstruction project. Travelers heading south of campus can expect less delays as the 81 South's revamp is finished. The reconstructed highway will serve as a new connection between Interstate 41 southbound and 81 southbound. The opening will replace a detour near the north roundabout on East Brighton Avenue. The highway includes a $5.5 million bridge and a new ramp from 81 northbound to East Glen Avenue.
Mayor Owens is threatening to fire Syracuse's I-81 project director Joe Driscoll for not living in Syracuse. Driscoll told Owens after her victory that he has been residing in his wife's home in Salina for more than a year, but has been searching for a home in Syracuse. City officials are required to live in the city, and Owens has stated that if he doesn't move into the city by the end of March, he would be fired.
Well, as efforts to improve major highways continue, the city is looking to help invest in pedestrians. A community open house yesterday showed residents new proposals to make Syracuse more walkable. The current intersection at Colvin Street may be seeing some new changes, such as a bike lane and less street space. The city hopes the proposed changes will also encourage safer driving. Officials say they hope the proposed changes can be implemented during the next few years of construction.
And happening tonight, the city of Syracuse is hosting a meeting on a deal meant to improve mobility and safety for pedestrians and bicyclists. The $3.5 million plan aims to rework the area near NBT Bank Stadium and Destiny USA area. The intersection of Park Street and Harborside Drive is a key juncture that service for regional commerce and transit hubs, with administration of the area being discussed as well. And to the latest, Representative John Mannion is facing a new opponent for his upcoming election. Auburn native Kaylee Buller announced her candidacy earlier today. She's a former senior official at the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Buller says her campaign will focus on lowering and restoring public trust. The race for NY22 has already a Republican candidate, David Hollenbach. The primary is set for June 23rd.
New York Attorney General Letitia James is suing the Trump administration alongside 2 other dozen states over President Trump's new global tariffs. James announced the lawsuit earlier today. This comes as the Supreme Court struck down the president's sweeping tariffs 2 weeks ago. The justices there ruling that the International Emergency Economic Powers Act did not grant Trump this jurisdiction.
And now the president has chosen a different route to accomplish the same unlawful, illegal, and unconstitutional goal. And that is why we are back in court. This latest attempt is nothing more than an effort to sidestep the Supreme Court and impose tariffs that the president does not have the authority to enact.
Defend the president's actions in court.
Firefighter officials across the state held an emergency meeting at East Syracuse Fire Department today. They're calling on state lawmakers to pass the legislation paying their volunteers. They hope to combat the decline in volunteer firefighters after seeing that numbers have reached their lowest in more than 40 years. Many firehouses have missed emergency calls due to understaffing and are even being left unmanned. Officials fear that they will be forced to close more locations after shutting down nearly half a dozen firehouses this past year.
Moving downtown, the Syracuse Crunch are hosting a mental wellness night tomorrow when the team hosts the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. The Crunch will warm up in special jerseys, green signifying mental health awareness, and the black-colored lines in the jerseys are to represent the brain. The warm-up jerseys will be given out in a post-game auction after the final horn.
Just up ahead, Congress makes a vote on the war in Iran, how local politicians are weighing in.
Plus, just days after her Senate hearing, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem has been fired. Find out why and who is replacing her when your campus news leader returns.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Rolling.
Sound is speeding.
Can you slow that down, please? This is 28-1.
28-1.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
On this vote, the yeas are 212, the nays are 219. The concurrent resolution is not adopted.
Well, just over an hour ago, the House refuted the War Powers Resolution in a 212 to 219 vote. The legislation is intended to put checks on the president's ability to engage in foreign conflict, requiring Trump to notify Congress of military action 48 hours in advance.
The House's failure to pass follows a similar defeat from the 47 to 53 Senate vote on Wednesday. The resolution was brought to the House floor to immediately end the bombing in Iran unless Congress declares war or sees an imminent threat. Local Democrats are pushing for the act to pass.
I'm worried about getting into a war that we cannot end, and the president, prior to him being elected the second time, has said we're not going to start new wars. But I think the questions are, what should we do about it? Should it involve military action? Should that be happening now? And what are our objectives and how do we achieve them?
It's unclear if Congress will reintroduce the resolution as the war develops.
And President Trump is saying today that he wants to be directly involved in picking Iran's next leader. Trump told Axios that the former Supreme Leader's son as a possible choice is, quote, unacceptable, calling him a lightweight. This adds to questions about the U.S. and Israel's future intentions with Iran, whether or not they want to overthrow the Islamic Republic or just change their policies.
European nations are now being drawn into the conflict with signs of the war extending beyond the Middle East. The United Kingdom is sending jets to Qatar along with Greece and Italy, reinforcing their defenses in Cyprus.
Well, from international to domestic, earlier today, President Trump announced on Truth Social that Secretary Kristi Noem will leave her role leading the Department of Homeland Security effective March 31st.
Noem will then take on the newly established role of Special Envoy for the Shield of Americas. The president also announced that Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin will replace Noem, an avid supporter of the president's in the country's upper chamber.
That's right. Senator Mullin, who has served as Sooner State for 13 years in Congress, has often kept in line with the president. He has served as chair in the higher chamber for the subcommittees within the Appropriations and Labor divisions.
Mullin has been a vocal advocate for the Trump administration's immigration crackdown, writing on X earlier this year in response to ICE protests in Minneapolis. Quote, federal law enforcement is arresting 10 times more illegal aliens in states like Texas, where residents largely comply with lawful orders, and no one is biting fingers off ICE agents. It's not that difficult. Shame on Minnesota leadership.
Since his selection, Senator Mullin has stated he was open to hearing the concerns of congressional Democrats who recently blocked efforts to fund the department. He will now lead. Well, to the latest in Arizona, Today host Savannah Guthrie plans to return to the show. And NBC announced this afternoon. This comes 33 days after Guthrie's mother, Nancy, was taken from her Tucson home.
Guthrie made a statement to her colleagues stating, quote, I have every intention of coming back. I don't know how to come back, but I don't know how to not to. You're my family, and I would like to try, end quote. Nancy Guthrie still has not been found. Guthrie has spent the last several weeks in Arizona with family before returning to her New York home.
Your campus news leader, I'll have your 5-day forecast. Stay tuned.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
You quit smoking and thought, that's that. But here's the thing about lung cancer. By the time you see the symptoms, it could be too late. But now, there's a new scan that can detect lung cancer early, when it's more curable. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Taking care of a family member can lead to plenty of questions. Fortunately, there's a place to get the answers, for them and for you. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back into Citrus TV News. Katie Jamroga joining us at the desk. Now, you told us it's been a wet day. We're expecting a wet weekend, but how are the temperatures looking ahead of time? I've heard that there's stuff to be jealous of that we're going to be missing out next week.
Yeah, temperatures are going to be really high this weekend, especially coming up. We're not going to see as much rain as we did today, but there's definitely going to be some sun that we're going to miss out on over the break. But speaking of going over to our 5-day forecast, tomorrow it's still going to be a little bit cloudy, but 45 degrees, you know, still a little bit warmer for the Syracuse winter. Saturday, some showers still, but 63 degrees. We're getting up there, we're getting higher with a low of 40 degrees. Sunday, there's going to be some clouds in the morning, mostly sun towards the afternoon with a high of 49 and a low of 40. On Monday, this is going to be the day that I'm jealous I'm not going to see here in Syracuse, but it's going to be Sunday with a high of 67 degrees and a low of 46 degrees. And then Tuesday, it's going to be partly cloudy with a high of 70 degrees and a low of 52 degrees. So that's going to be the temperature day that I feel like we're going to wish we were here for. But guys, I actually have a question for you. What do you think has been the highest recorded temperature in Syracuse in the month of March? We have A, 72 degrees, B, 84 degrees, C, 87 degrees, and D, 91 degrees.
You know, I've been here for a fair few early spring months in Syracuse by now, and I know that we get those random high temperature days, so I'm going to guess C, 87.
Okay, I think the same as you, but I'm going to guess B, 84, just to be a little bit different, but I agree. I think you're right.
All right, who's right?
Luke, you are correct. Oh. It is C, 87 degrees.
You're on your streak still.
Yeah, we're not going to see as warm here on Monday, but definitely getting up there. So we can hope that springtime is on its way. Guys.
Katie Jamroga, thank you so much. Well, if you're in need of an easy job paying a lot of money and you like to eat, Wendy's has an opening for a chief tasting officer.
According to the job listing, the chief tasting officer basically just eats the food while making vlog check-ins. The bonus, the job is paying $100,000.
Oh, sign me up. To apply for the job, you need to send in a video of why you think you're the perfect candidate for the position. Now, from the drive-thru to disguise, as of today, United Airlines are the only U.S. carrier to prohibit the use of devices without headphones. The airline just updated its contract of carriage to include a clause that requires passengers to, quote, use their headphones while listening to audio or video content.
United's continued efforts to expand their Starlink Wi-Fi access, which stated the recommended use, also factored into the decision to alter the contract. Going forward, if a passenger doesn't regard the rule, they will be removed from the flight and possibly be banned.
I'm supporting. I'm supporting that.
This
yeah.
too.
In public, if you are in public anywhere, I don't care if it's on a plane, I don't care if it's any public transportation or even just sitting on a park bench. If you're playing stuff out loud, like, you don't want to be that person.
No,
like,
I feel like people have gotten very comfortable on planes and they're like fully blasting their music. And I'm just trying to sit there. They're like already creeping to, like putting back their seats.
And I feel like it's like a common courtesy thing. Like also like you wouldn't be able to play sound outside of those TVs that you see on the airplane heads there. So why would you be able to do that?
I don't know.
Well, you know who's making noise? That's Syracuse men's lacrosse. AJ Myers, what's coming up in sports?
Yeah, Syracuse men's lacrosse, they're going to need to know about that flying rule. They've been on the road now for 2 straight. They're going to make it 3 straight against Johns Hopkins on Saturday. Hear from Gary Gate on the other side about the team's mindset.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner!
Go. Excellent. Soccer is fun. Yeah, I saw you guys out there. We're the family. Yeah! Oh, I thought you were on my team. Wait.
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
The road trip continues for Syracuse men's lacrosse. Welcome to sports. I'm AJ Myers. After 2 games last weekend for the Cuse, things lighten up a tad. Well, maybe not. Syracuse takes on its oldest rival, Johns Hopkins, and after 2 shaky performances over the weekend against Ivy League foes, that included a defeat and an overtime win, Gary Gate knows his group must be ready from the start.
You know, every week it's a new team. I think it's just, you know, executing the game plan. Like I've been saying all year, that's our focus, is to put a game plan in place, execute it, but we've got to bring more energy, more enthusiasm, and more grit.
Saturday is the 64th meeting between the Orange and Blue Jays. Last year's contest was decided by just 3 goals. Face-off from Baltimore is set for 1. It's the opposite path for Syracuse women's lacrosse. The Cuse remain at home after a midweek triumph versus Cal. Another ACC test for Syracuse against Virginia Tech tomorrow. And after dropping their first 3 games of the year, Reggie Thorpe's side has rattled off 3 straight. The headman credits his attacking options for the change in form.
You know, every week it's a new team.
Coach Nicole's offense is just, it's predicated on, you know, everyone gets opportunities. Sometimes you're doing the dirty work, clearing through, clearing space. Sometimes you're spraying on the backside to get, you know, have someone open on the elbow. So the kids are just buying in. It's you know, it's never easy when it's spread around that way, but I think it is you know, tough for teams to scout.
Virginia Tech's attack has been held to single digits 3 times this year, yet the Hokies got the better of the Orange last season. Draw time is set for 5 from the Dome tomorrow. On the hardwood, Syracuse men's basketball wraps up its regular season Saturday at home against Pitt. For the second time this year, the Orange are in jeopardy of losing 5 straight, although 3 of those, but there is some positive news. The Panthers have already suffered 5 consecutive defeats this campaign. Last night had a chance to pick up back-to-back W's at Florida State, only to lose by a point. Syracuse and Pitt faced off in early January, and the Orange walked away with an 11-point victory thanks to 22 points from Donnie Freeman. This game turned out to be Adrian Autry's last road win of the season and was all the way back in January, as I mentioned. The rematch between the Orange and Panthers tips off at 4:30 on Saturday. Big move in the NFL today. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Bills have acquired wide receiver DJ Moore from the Bears. In exchange, Buffalo sends a 2026 second-round pick and a 5th-round pick. Moore found the end zone 6 times last season, and it is a good deep threat for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo, they got that new stadium. Now they got a fancy new receiver to show off as well.
AJ Myers joining us at the desk. So take us back to the turf for a second. Syracuse men's lacrosse had a great start to their season. It's been a little tight these past few games. What do they have to do to win it on this weekend?
Yeah, just 1 win in the last 2. I think the key is at the face-off X. They got to get that dominance back. That's where they were so dominant early, especially against Maryland. If John Mullen has a good day against Johns Hopkins, it should be a good day for Gary Gates' group.
We will see if Gary Gates' squad can pull it off. AJ Myers, thank you so much. When we come back, we'll have one last look at your wake-up weather.
Stick with us.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Now one last look at your wake-up weather. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, it's going to be about 37 degrees, the same as it will be tonight, but still pretty warm in this Syracuse winter. There are going to be some clouds, not too much wind though, so I think when you're leaving your house tomorrow morning, you can still get away with the windbreaker, not the total winter jacket. So we are making progress towards springtime, guys.
Katie, thanks so much. And those temperatures are looking a little bit rough. I'm sad that we're going to miss those warmer temperatures, as Katie mentioned earlier in the show, over spring break. But I'm just going to take what we can while we're gone.
I know. I feel like 37 is the new 80 here.
I know, exactly.
You have to take it
we've been under 32 for the longest time, and it's just, it feels like I don't actually have to walk out with a puffer coat on anymore, which has been very, very freeing. Well, that's Citrus TV News Live at 6 for this Thursday.
Don't forget you can follow us on X and Instagram at Citrus TV News. Now for the entire Citrus TV News team, I'm Kaitlin Campbell.
And I'm Luke Welch. This is our final show here on Citrus TV News, and here before we head for spring break, we will resume along with classes on Monday, March 16th. Stay safe, Syracuse.